stop.
It's on his mic.
That's why he has the DM screen.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
Look, KK, it's me!
Say hello, Internet.
Hello,
We got at least a good 20 seconds of me accusing John of looking at porn.
Yep. That's right. That was my phone.
I would have totally gotten
Like a boss.
What is it called?
I was able to do the transition thing, or it's just the and then just audio. And
So you
I'm really proud of
get
myself.
one, and they only have one eye
Very
colored
good
in,
setup.
and so you
My
color
adequate
the other
setup.
eye.
One day will be a good setup. But right now it's an adequate setup.
It'll work.
What is that?
Coming all the way. Coming all the
I
way.
love them.
My bowl. My bowl?
Yeah.
With Drumas.
Oh, okay.
We're talking about nerdy ass tattoos. Most of them on the anime spectrum.
I got a nerd. It's not a nerd.
I'm on
it's
A
tattoo.
spectrum.
It's really
It's
not.
just cute.
It's
It's
a
a
spooky
spooky. It's a spooky tattoo.
Spooky tattoo.
Yep. But we also talked about anime.
Anime.
Yep.
I told you
I
about
had a
my
friend in high school who said Anaheim one time.
I was gonna say I had a teacher that said anime because I did a not really a TED talk but something like that style that for class. Oh, this was in Riverside.
Oh, okay.
That's a really good tool out
But yeah, he was like, "Oh, so Sally's here is going to be doing her speech on anime." And I'm like, what?
Like
Every-
a
Yes.
Every time like someone would be like,
Silent
we're gonna be
yeah.
talking about memes. And you'd be like, what?
I is long because there's an E on the end.
Yeah,
no.
a meme.
I had a
We're gonna
friend in
talk
high
about
school who was
memes.
like, oh yeah, the
And
Anaheim.
you
And I was it's one of those situations where you stare at a person for a second because you honestly don't know what they're talking about, and you're like, oh, the anime. And
Right.
she was like, oh,
You're
is
right,
that how you
cyanide.
pronounce it?
Yeah.
And I was like, yes.
Wow.
That's right.
Amanda's gay
Yes.
ex-boyfriend really wanted to have a daughter to name anime.
So this same friend who couldn't pronounce anime thought that chlorine was a pretty name for a girl. Yep.
I knew about someone who wanted to name their kid Latrine.
Chlorine.
It's better than shit
Please
house.
don't take my...
It was no apostrophe tree, right?
Shit house.
I love it when you
Timing.
say it out of nowhere, like the Tourette's that happens on this.
Right.
You're just sort of like,
I
you're like, oh my god, bro.
My quote Tourette's.
I don't even know what you would
Right.
call that.
Who's this close?
You know what it's like? You know when you're around musical theater people and they randomly burst out into song because they can't help themselves?
Yeah.
She has this with like movie
Yeah,
quotes.
but that's not funny.
Yeah, no, that's.
I do
that's
it with
not
songs
But you don't
Yeah.
randomly burst into singing. You, like,
other than
you,
reproduction.
but you didn't sing it.
Yeah.
You just like vomited it out. Lyrics. You're like, and then your face went just like bright red, and I was like,
Yeah.
what the hell just happened?
It's on camera.
Yeah.
Like something came over you.
It's a slutty test upon stigma.
It's just, you get possessed. Shit house.
I mean, at least you quote things that other people recognize.
Well,
I
at least
really
it's the people we're around
Yes.
recognize. I don't know.
I really don't think Frisky Dingo quotes, and everyone just stares at me like I don't know
I
what the
have
fuck
no
it-
idea.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
exactly.
like, what the heck is Frisky Dingo?
It's a really funny TV show that everyone should watch.
It's on like Robot Chicken. So it's just
It was on Adult Swim.
Yeah.
It's available on Hulu. It's you can watch both seasons.
Yeah.
Only because I was fairly down with the Robot Chicken, especially because Seth Green nerds.
Yeah.
So.
So it's the first show by the people that eventually made Archer.
Oh, okay.
So
Nice. Does it have that? So it has that humor to
John
it?
Benjamin.
Yeah.
Got it.
Well, John Benjamin's not in it,
Ah.
but so the guy who's the voice of Ray, Adam Reed, who's also the creator guy, is the voice of like pretty much everyone on that show.
That's nice.
The episodes are only 15 minutes long, so it doesn't take very long to get through.
My
Also-
phone is at 19.
Also
So
good.
today's episode is sponsored by
Your phone is.
Yeah, I was gonna
That's
plug
right.
it in my
So
Oh.
don't tell anyone. But
no,
I was
I'm
watching-
putting your phone over there.
I was watching
No,
a
no.
kawaii ass
So turn
anime,
off my computer.
and I'm just like bawling at this episode. I'm like, I don't know why this is about
What
so
were you
much.
watching?
And I was like, oh, it's the last episode. That's why.
What were you watching?
No, don't worry about it.
He's never gonna tell.
Something, Grave of Fireflies. Yeah, let's go with
You
that.
were not watching Grave of Fireflies.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
Now, wasn't My Little Hero...
sense, but it didn't
Was
work.
it My Little Witch Academia?
Oh, my.
Shut up.
Oh God, yes.
It's a Netflix anime, so I've never watched it.
It's actually really fucking good.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, it's Trigger because it used to be Gynax, but it's not Gynax.
Yes.
All right,
It's actually
internet.
the manga.
Yeah, the green one, right?
It's really good.
Okay.
All right, internet. Join a straw poll to figure out what kind of anime made Tony bald.
Any anime, like it's not
me.
it's not a high bar.
I was
Full of like
last
emotions.
episode of the first season, the new Fruits Basket was on Friday. I almost cried.
I haven't seen any of it.
You should watch it.
I will now that it's all out.
Yeah.
I was waiting.
New Fruit Basket.
Because they remade it, and it's so much better. And they're gonna do the whole manga story. So like, season 1 cuts off, ends where the original anime ended, and then they're gonna do a season 2 where they do the rest of the story. Which fills me so many feelings.
And then you broke into a musical.
Whoa.
Sorry.
What the heck?
Gross.
Wow.
What was that?
I'm changing my line notification.
That's what I
What?
Demons in your phone.
want. I want mine to sound like some growl vocals.
The,
That's good.
the deep line was Amanda. Yes.
That makes sense.
Okay.
So
Game
we're not dead.
Yeah, we're not dead.
Yeah.
We
But
killed
soon.
some people, and now they're looking for us.
And we're gonna kill
Also,
some
I
more.
got super ass drunk and emotional.
That's right.
Yes.
So
I think I'm still asleep.
you took a detour.
Oh, we're on a boat. I think. Right?
No.
No.
We're not on that
There's
boat?
no boat involved.
There's no
You get drunk in real life.
No, I thought that we got like.
Sorry, that just clicked to the rest of us.
On the dog.
That is method as shit. Like,
We are on the dock.
That's
Yeah.
what I thought. We're on top.
you're at a dockside bar.
No, that's been my favorite part of this show, this game so far. Is that the first ship we got on didn't leave port,
Nope.
and we have not been on a ship since.
Yep.
Even though we're in a port town,
Yep.
Hey, I
in
was
a game
on
called
that
Seven
boat.
Sea. Yeah,
while it was
half
in
the
sea.
party was on that boat.
Yep.
Yeah, but I was actually sailing on it.
Yeah, she was actually on it while
Oh,
it was moving.
that doesn't count.
Because we
Oh.
went and got her from it.
It didn't
Yeah, I
happen
know.
in game.
We all had happy fun times pre-game,
Yep.
so that doesn't count. at all.
On boat time.
That's right.
That's right. I fucked
We
the
won't-
shit out of boat.
Hey, I don't know what best is.
A boat, a bear. You know, a legend continues.
Apparently, just like fucking things that start with B.
Red Bull is a sexual crash pad launch pad, and he just has a little journal where it just checks off everything.
Oh,
Right.
that must be it. You're
That's a,
on the
DuckTales
B's.
reference.
Like your list is in alphabetical order, and you're just
Yeah.
on the B's right now.
He's going through a dictionary.
I have so many lives to
Yep.
love.
I sure did.
Yeah.
The dictionary.
Dictionary. Watch your
No,
dick.
we're not going focus ever. It's like
No, no, no.
We were
We're not.
talking with that guy for information because he was an obvious plant, and then his other lady who was with him, who was better at their job than he was,
Julia Lombardo.
yeah, was onto us, and then she killed him,
And then I cried.
and then you got really sad and got really drunk.
Yeah, you
and
got really
got
drunk.
at the bar.
And then
we
a
went to
fireman
go to-
carried you out.
And we went to
Yeah.
go to the guild hall to talk to guild people for some reason.
Oh yeah, this is what I was last time.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
dropping off some info.
Yeah,
Sure.
I remember
I'm just doing
bombing at
some
point.
admin.
That's all.
And then the next thing we have to do is the heist. Or no, because now the
No, we're gonna
We
read
still
this.
got several days.
Yeah, that's what it says.
It's on
in my
the
notes.
heist.
Last thing is.
why are we
You guys-
raiding the safe house?
To murder them all, because you want to murder prophets or people. And
But I thought
also
the safe
wanna-
house was our safe house.
No, it's not our safe house.
No,
Oh, I was confused.
it's their safe house.
Their safe
We're gonna make it an unsafe house.
Very.
It's gonna be great.
That makes more sense. Okay. I was
There's
like,
there are no safe
Steakhouse.
touches here.
Can we stop by the restaurant real quick?
We just left the restaurant.
No, the
You
restaurant.
left the
no.
tavern.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah. You went to the restaurant the day prior to this.
Let's head back down there.
Okay.
What's up, fools?
And we're
Wait,
gonna-
is this same day still?
Oh yeah.
Then am I still drunk?
Yes.
It's
Okay.
the day that never ends. Like we've been on this day for like 3 sessions.
We'll be very productive today.
Am
So,
I
Alright, we made another play.
hell yeah, we did.
So I don't know. I'm passed out.
That
Yep.
cat looks so
I'm
thrilled to be
going
wearing
wherever
that.
you guys put me.
So
You actually wake up somewhere on the way
Me? Oh,
to the restaurant.
okay.
So when we get to the restaurant,
You're tossed over Genia's shoulder.
The ground is bouncing around.
Oh yeah.
I try not to look at it.
and when we get to the restaurant, I'm
Look at it
loudly,
hit me in the head.
proclaiming, I think it was a vintage. I think it was of a particularly good vintage. And at the restaurant, it's loudly, she's drunker than a skunk in spring. We need to get some food in her, and maybe some cafe. And also, we're here to eat. And so I'm like, yo, hook it up. Let's get a corner table where
You start to get brought into the restaurant. Like somebody's like, oh yeah, sure. Like we got a table up front, and then as you're getting led to this table,
I'm looking for the wink.
another waiter like passes by, and then he sort of gives you like a side glance, and then pats
Yeah,
your
I'm-
current
I'm-
waiter
I'm
on the
like-
shoulder, and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I think we have a table in the back.
Yeah.
I will take them there.
You don't want her puking up in the front anyway. It's,
No,
yeah,
absolutely not.
We're
I'm
gonna,
sorry, folks.
we're gonna-
sorry.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, we're
I'm not puking. At most I'm going to dry it a little.
Now that they mention it, though.
Jenny
Yeah.
actually
Oh, man.
Jenny bounces you.
Yeah.
Like to shake it out.
Now that they mention it, you're like, I'm not puking, and then
you're
suddenly
puking.
you're like, oh, maybe, maybe.
Great. Do I need to roll something? Keep it in? Or
No, you're not quite there
Okay.
yet.
It's
But
been planted.
It made me think about it. Now I'm gonna.
Oh, I can't tell if it's gonna happen or not. but
Yep.
I feel like it might.
you're at that moment of like being drunk where you start to inhale because you think that's gonna help, right? Like you're like deep breaths. I can keep control. I can keep it in.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. I have a lot of power. Okay.
You know you had too many drinks, but you're just like maybe if I control my breathing, I can rectify my past bad choices. That's right. That bobbing back and forth on Jenna's shoulder, like that needs to stop.
Please put me down.
Are you going to drink anymore?
No. Unless it is water.
Okay. And actually, not very kindly. He drops you.
Oh, I'm like on the ground. I'm like,
Yeah.
I deserve that.
Yep. Marlena,
And then helps you up.
the restaurant is on the boat.
Is it?
To you it is.
It absolutely is.
Wow.
It's on the boat.
Why is everything shaking?
Oh, it's bobbing. You feel your knees buckle a little bit.
Man, did I just hang up on you?
No.
Okay, good.
Okay. Well, I try to stand up.
I help you up.
Oh, you can't stand up.
Yeah.
It's more like the floor
But the
doing
deck
this
keeps
a little
pitching.
bit. And it's just like a nice like rhythm, right?
Oh, okay.
Welcome back to that feeling.
Yeah. Sitting
no
would be good.
Things that's nice. Yes.
Boat day was doing that shit until Friday. It was not fun.
I love
You
it.
guys,
I love
you
every
guys
bit
were
of it.
like peak because when I was out on the deck, like I was fine. The moment I went below deck, I was like on my heave. I don't know how you guys are managing to have to.
Yeah, I was hanging in there. I was doing all right, and like
Oh,
same.
so you need to see the things to
When I
know.
got
Your head is getting confused.
when I got acclimated, I was fine.
Yeah.
But then I got off,
Oh.
and like just doing tickets, I'd be like,
I think Tommy's got a tremor.
I was completely in my element until they wanted me to go sit on a trampoline. I was like, no, I don't want to.
This
And
is
then
not
this one,
what great is.
don't do it. And I'm like,
I was like,
gonna.
Why was there a trampoline on
So
top?
it's a
Catamaran.
catamaran.
Okay.
So there's two.
Sorry.
Yeah, there's two like.
Things that-
Yeah, there's two.
Yeah,
there's
I know what
nests.
you mean, yeah.
So yeah, but they
She's-
kept being like, "Come stand on here," but I was wearing my witch boots, so they had heels, and I'm like, I'm not kidding now, man.
Yeah, then she'll be the not the mermaid, the
Beached whale
no,
things.
the other root. The other it's not a mermaid, but it's the one that turns a silky. It's like a caught silky in the
Yeah.
nets, just like
What's wrong with
and they
you?
try to get the entire company out on these things, and I'm looking at them like, those are the same PVC pipe that I use for random bullshit that has all these ropes tied to this net, and
Yeah.
like
Doesn't sound
They're like, we could make so many swords out of these.
a little bit.
There's shorts in these bottoms, right?
Yeah, well, one of our employees swims it on a semi-regular basis. He's like, it's fine. They're not that hungry.
It's great. One day there will be a news article
He
like
better not be.
headline there.
He does a lot of the tech work. We need him.
Oh no.
Anyway,
Not gonna find her.
what was I gonna say?
So there's
Yeah.
news
Yeah,
to the
you
back
get
of
brought
the
in
rest.
to this cold
Yeah, we
table.
flop
Not exactly the
her ass
same
into
one, but
Yeah, we flopped her ass into a chair,
Because always says he just has to be faster.
and whatever waiter, I'm just like, I just need to leave a message real quick, and so I'm like, it's short but crazy important for some of the more in the know individuals. I don't know if what's
So do I
the
find a chair?
second command name? Oh yeah, we'll find your chair.
Okay, I'm sitting in the chair.
Oh, yeah, you're
Drape onto the chair.
Yep.
What's his second? What's it?
Sebastian.
Yeah. Sebastian around by any chance, or
Sebastian.
yeah, he's been a little busy, but
yeah, I don't need him for more than like a few moments.
he'll make time.
Yeah.
You see that he does.
You actually roll me a
Wits
yeah wits and
plus notice.
notice. That will work.
I mean, I don't want to roll those, but I would. I figured those
Well,
are
you
the
got
two.
nobody else to win now.
I figured those are the two that would make the most sense if I'm trying to be
Yes.
aware of a thing.
Yes.
So
Anybody else at the table can also roll this.
What sort of penalty do I have on my roll? Or am I not allowed to roll for this
You're in this chair, and it's better now that you're seated.
one? Okay,
You can actually keep your head on straight. The nausea has subsided.
cool. Is
You need
there-
food though.
Well, whatever's in front of me, if it is edible and or drinkable and not alcohol, I will.
3.
you all got that solid 3 rays life.
Eugene?
Shit. I don't know.
Mathematics.
Wits and what?
Notice.
6 successes.
6.
Only 3 raises, but 7 successes.
Yeah.
And so what's the difficulty? Not damn
Yeah, that's what I was.
Easy.
I rolled really well, except that it didn't come out to 10.
I got 3.
3. Everybody is very aware.
How many did you get, Evie?
6.
Oh, goddamn, Evie.
This is her. This is what she's built for.
This is her
No
wheelhouse.
shit.
Yeah.
All of you, like out in the back, like through a few of the alcoves, through the business, like you actually can see Sebastian come out of one that looks like a side office, and he's having a conversation with somebody back there. He looks much more serious and animated, almost uncharacteristically so. Evine, you're cued in on it so much that you, even above the din, you manage to hear part of the conversation. and he's pointing a finger at somebody who's on the other side of that door, and basically saying, I don't want to hear excuses. You find who's responsible and you fix this right now.
We didn't do it.
Maybe.
Actually,
Yeah, I don't know about that.
And he basically closes the door and walks in, and the moment he sees you, that sort of tension seems to vanish, and just big old grin, and he approaches, takes off his hat, rubs his bald head, and just sits down. It's like, my friends, so soon.
Yes, unfortunately, our our current meeting must be brief. But I had news I felt was important to you or your mistress as soon as possible. Julia Lombardo. Does this name do anything?
Maybe.
Okay. Next, let me describe her in detail, and I do so. And I'm like, she looks like this, blah, blah, blah.
And the moment you start describing, he sort of puts a hand up, and then he leans in his chair and thunderous voice, Carlos! Get in here!
Ooh, Carlos is in trouble.
And this guy arises and he's carrying like a platter of food, right? Like when he almost like skids into the room, just like drops it on one table.
I look at it.
Oh no! Don't put that near him, man. if you want that to get to the table.
Takes like some of the bread, like the carbs, and like passes them over to you.
Oh,
And everything else.
And he signals for him to get closer, and the guy just sort of leans over and he's like, you listen to this.
And I say, Julia Lombardo. That is her actual name. Not an alias at all. She looks like this and this and this and this. Blah, 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 blah. And I describe that she is an incredibly adept agent at subterfuge. And that she knows that at least I am associated with the Odyssean Liberation Front as she saw the coin. We have no clue who she's associated with, but was actively collecting intel at this bar at this time, and had a secondary patsy who was not skilled at all and actually killed on sight to
not
mess with
even by
the
us,
operation.
by her.
No, yeah, she did, yeah.
I'm like, too soon!
Like, I don't talk about it anymore. You're gonna trigger her.
Carlos
I think we're all triggered right now.
Carlos sort of nods
Yeah.
towards you, and he anything else?
I don't know if I see anything that can use it.
I'm
as
pretty
a-
sure I got most of it. Yeah, we were working. As like me and Jimena were working the Patsy, but Evine, did you have any other info on this one?
Well, other than her skill level, which is apparent, not necessarily. I've never heard of her.
We also have her cover, and which company she claimed to be working for.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. His name was Umberto.
Yeah, if you want to
Or
track
at
on
least
him
that's
at
what
all.
he said his name
Yeah.
was.
And then
To be perfectly honest, it probably is his real name. He was not very good at his job.
Oh,
the server actually like leans back, and then Sebastian just like points at him. He's like, "You find the Grande and tell her that word for word immediately. Leave the food. Don't wait."
The food is not going to be there when you come back.
Oh no, it's not.
no, he means the customers will wait.
Oh.
It's all right, yeah. But other than that, we have some business to tend to, so we'll be leaving suddenly, more suddenly than we arrived. And
Right under your foot.
Don't worry, don't worry about it.
no, she won't. She's fucking laid out.
Oh, she's sleeping.
Aw.
No, little kitty.
She just wants to be a part of the family.
Sebastian actually leans a little bit closer, and his expression is a bit more somber at that point, and said, 3 of our agents are dead.
The list?
The fist is closing.
Are these people on the list?
No, they were some of ours. They were not on any lists. The most secretive arm of the Prophet's Sword is in town, and I would assume your lady is part of it.
That makes sense.
That does make sense.
He actually looks at you and
Me?
grabs something from the tray of food and just lays it in front of you.
I was already given some cards.
It is coffee.
Oh. Okay.
The aroma immediately reaches your nostrils, and you're like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
Get the hell out of that.
this thing is blacker than hell." And he sort of leans towards you, and he looks at you like super closely, and says, "You have to be on your game. They have one of your sisters on payroll."
Another one?
Well, we are
No
sorry.
sister of mine, if that's the case.
Our condolences to the brothers in arms.
I appreciate that.
But I think we all know that these are the risks we take. As a matter of fact, we're going to break some fingers on that grip right now.
Make it count.
Well, we had some warm up already today.
So I hear. I heard a couple of reports. I sort of wondered, but thank you for removing the guesswork. And then
We don't mind when friends know when we've been called.
he basically says, we might have to lean on you a little bit more. The Inquisitors are going to go public shortly to announce that good King Sandoval is backing the Inquisition and rooting out the unrest in San Felipe. Anybody who rises against the sword or the Inquisition will now be imprisoned for questioning. So Lucia's hands and mine are tied. We can't move against them without tipping our hand right now. If you've proven yourselves trustworthy, we'll establish a communication protocol so that you don't have to endanger yourselves. But a lot rests on your shoulders right now.
I glance at Evine and Marilena. I'm like, a couple of us can be subtle. The rest of us, we're nice and sturdy, so we can be leaned on just fine.
Good. It'll be
Jimena's like mumbling in Castilian as she's shoving food in her face.
it'll be
If by density alone.
it'll be a protracted engagement. These people do not play fair.
See,
That's funny. There's glory in a fight.
He actually pours a few shot glasses, skipping Marilena.
Yeah, I don't know. Right now, just thinking about
and none
those
for
makes me
Gresham
sick.
Williams.
What about touching wieners?
Instead of none for Gresham Williams.
Oh, okay. It's like, why are we touching wieners? Okay.
Oh, it's from Mean Girls.
And
Right, yeah.
pours what looks like a smooth amber liquid in those glasses and raises it and says, "Amen to that, my friends. Amen to that."
It's cold.
I just down my coffee,
Yep.
and then I'm like, this is
You need to get sharp. We're going to work.
And then he looks back at you. Yeah, there is more. Would you like some to go?
Yeah. I think we've kept you long enough. I think we both have business to tend to for today's done.
I've got a loaf of bread, coffee mug.
Yeah, that's right.
He sort of leans back and then straightens his coat and puts his hat back on, and then was like, I'll be looking forward to a grand gesture.
Did your ear pop?
No, just bringing the
And
pressure changed.
he steps away from the table a couple minutes after somebody brings a container for you. Marlena,
Cool. To go boxes.
with coffee in it.
And then yeah, as soon as she's got her to-go package, I splash a couple coins on the table for whomever, because I'm like, I still gotta eat. And I'm like, the most subtle way out of the back, please.
Yep, that somebody's like, yeah, this was there. And you actually walk through the kitchen into the back alley.
Dipping and dodging, because
Yep.
I don't want to get in anyone's way.
As you open the door into the back alley, you see a very familiar old man, one tooth, sticking
that
out,
guy.
like he's curled up around a bottle of wine, like as if it's a baby, right? And he sees you come in, and you give like a very slight.
I just start laughing, like, I'm just loud. Just don't even care anymore. Just out down the alley.
Can I like walk with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Whatever was in that coffee, your head is still pounding,
What's up?
and you got like blurred edges, but you can actually focus.
I had a shot of that. Shot of that. What? Cuban or Puerto Rican?
Oh yeah.
Where it's just zing.
He's crushed aspirin. It's like, it's not sugar, it's crushed aspirin.
That's right.
It was bitter. Couldn't tell for what
Right,
reason.
it's
it
already
was bitter.
coffee.
Yeah.
So did we have any sort of attack plan for this? Because if not, that's fine. I just didn't want to go against whatever plan we
No,
come
I
up
don't
with.
think we did.
We're just gonna roll in there and
Yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna do it our way.
Hell
We're right
yeah.
there
That's
against
how I
the-
do it best.
Yeah, we kick the door down and set it
Yeah.
on fire. Everyone's still inside of it.
so yeah, we wander up to that square, and I say, "Time is up. Let's do this."
You notice like the front of the house, right? Like it's an actual home, and they're still working on reinforcing it.
Yeah.
There's like 4 guys up front, sort of, like, and they're clearly Prophet Sword, although one looks like he's about to go undercover, like his cloak, like his, like he's wearing civilian clothes, and he's sort of removing like his paraphernalia, right? Like, but they're still staging up front of the house.
So there's 4 of them.
Yep.
And they're like visible as soon as we round the corner.
Yes.
Okay.
The safe house is sort of tucked, like there's nobody around. Like, looks like they might have like cleared the street because they're sort of coming and going, and they don't want to make it clear that it's one of their outposts.
Yeah.
But they're right up front, and they're discussing sort of out loud, right? Like one of them is smoking a pipe, and there's they're discussing primarily in Castilian.
So there's Pipe, Undercover Brother, and who are the other 2?
There's just like, you look like regular like soldiers. There's one soldier smoking a pipe. One of them is leaning on one of the crates, right? Like they're just sort of they're watching up front, but they're not watching that closely. Like you hear like there's stuff happening inside the house, and they're probably just
I take this in as we come around the corner, drop my pack on the ground, and as I drop my pack on the ground, I say, "Evine, take the supple one. Zevia, Pipe, Zenia,
Really?
sorry,
Really?
Zenia,
on brand.
Pipe," and I say, and I tell him in it to take the leaning one.
What do I do?
Oh, there we go. I
Take the
said,
leaning.
There's a
take
dude
the
leaning on a
one,
crate. He is your
and then I'll take
target.
the 4th. Because we came around the corner and we see this, and
I wanted to make sure I peed before.
right, and I dropped my pack, and as I,
It's, you know.
Yeah.
And then it comes back out from a bush and
as I
I'm ready.
And as I
Yeah.
drop
I'm
my
ready, I'm
pack,
ready.
I tell Evine, take the other one. I got the pipe, or Xenia takes the pipe. You take the leaner, and I got the fork. And then
And you drop your pack on the ground.
yeah,
right?
just
approaching.
Just give a shit. Yeah, and then I chuck my axes.
All right.
I turn into a wolf because apparently I can't turn into a bear anymore.
I don't know.
Because everyone will know who's fucking the white bear.
Yeah.
yeah, you kind of ruined that.
I don't think there's gonna be any survivors.
I know, but if anyone should witness the polar bear,
All right.
the polar bear is definitely
Do you want me
like.
to change the legend? We can
No,
do
that's
that.
fine.
I can. You know. Do you want to be the bear?
I move better as a wolf in this situation.
All right. Just whatever makes you happy.
Brethel will adjust it. It was actually a moose.
I'll fuck whatever I need to fuck to make you happy. That's it.
Sentences never thought entirely too much information.
Oh dear.
You?
So I'm going brawn.
You checking
plus,
your axes.
I'm
So
going brawn plus
you-
aim on this one.
So do me a roll for your axes. This won't count as your approach for this. Because we're not... They haven't accosted you yet, so this will be out of turn
They're getting
order.
accosted. So I don't
Wait,
know.
are we got a surprise round?
Pretty, well, I should hope so, because I don't think they're expecting this shit. Alright. So I got 4, so that's 15s or 2s. Alright, cool.
I'm not sure how to do this. You
Right.
knew where I was going, but
Yeah. It's like, wait, but you're the Inquisition. Damn it.
Wait, my 10s explode, because I have a shit ton of...
Yeah, boy.
Alright.
Ooh. Ooh.
Okay.
You're magic now, boy.
Oh, yeah, no, I hit that sweet spot. I'm never healing these. Alright.
Are you still wounded? Is that what it is?
Well, because it doesn't heal the normal stuff.
Right.
The dramatics stay.
Yep.
And I haven't had a chance to heal those, so...
Oh, not me.
Still wounded.
They're still up there, baby. Alright.
I've got that Matushka love that takes away my dramatics.
Although it does give villains +2 bonus dice against me, so just...
Well, it also gives you bonus dice, right? So you...
Oh,
the
I
first
do!
one.
God
Yeah.
damn it. Alright,
The
yeah.
first one.
Okay, we'll do that. Yeah. all
Right now, you're real as berserker.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
like,
We're going ham right
I'm
now.
wounded as shit. Doesn't matter.
Yes, please. I'll take some.
I'll
of
start
that.
frothing at the mouth. Rethel will flex his shirt off.
wow.
You can-
Fist of the North Star style.
Fuck yeah.
Is there an upper balcony?
No,
by the way?
you just see Rethel go, and then just the axes just whirl
Yep.
like death because
And
I
you're,
have
you're aiming for the one that was getting into civvy clothes.
8 raises. No, the leaner. Or
Okay.
sorry.
I'm the leader.
The remaining one that you
Okay.
didn't identify in some way.
Yep.
Evine got the undercover brother.
Right.
She's got the guy. He's got the she's got the lean gentleman, and I got the 4th.
This guy was the one that was more or less like facing close to your direction.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy is like, removing his clothes and like folding it, and the other dude is just like smoking his pipe, and this third guy just like leaning on the crate, and they're chatting in Castilian, like it's not even related to the safe house, right? Like they're having some small talk about shit they're gonna do after they're off their shift, and this guy comes closer to the other ones, and like he has like a thumb tucked in his belt, and he's leaning on his sword, and like he raises his hand to say something, and both axes just hit him full force and knock him back about like 8 feet. Both legs just like fly up in the air, and he falls on the ground with a crack. Like you see the blood, like the pool of blood start to spill around him. Just dead. Just fucking flat out dead. And immediately, the 3 other ones just turned around, and one of them.
I'm looking at them like my next target
Right.
grab the axes, go through the door, and like
Swords
so I don't even care about
drawn.
them.
One of them immediately is trying to be like, "Halt! You're committing a crime!"
Committed. We
So
already did it.
he's 2 steps behind what's
Right.
happening.
Yeah, basically, like he was smoking his pipe just a moment ago, talking about taverns and shit, and suddenly, like, his friend was exploding in the shower of gore.
Speaking of a pipe,
Yes.
he's about to get his legs ripped out.
That's right. So they turn around, like, sword drawn, and one of them is just like, he's trying to give, like, a coherent edict. And he's just like, "Oh, you're committing a crime! You're
now
going against the king!"
Now you're just gonna die out of breath.
But it's, you know, it's a feeble attempt. Especially if you're dead. They're like, well, these people can kill. So now, give me your approach. And Riffle, you get to participate in that.
Well, let's go ahead and hear what their approaches are.
Go ahead, Mike.
Humana is basically just going to step out into the light, draw her sword, like point it at the guy who was previously leaning, and basically
Perfect.
No idea what I'm doing right now.
Like I said, Jenya shifted into a wolf, and
Alright.
she's gonna pounce and go for the throat of Mr. Pipe. Mr. You're committing an offense.
If it helps you at all, Marilena, Rethel is obviously going for the door next.
So, is there anybody on the second floors or balcony or anything like that?
There is a second floor, and it looks like there's a balcony. There's no way to get to it from the outside. It
Do I
looks
see
like
anybody
there's a
up
door.
there, though?
You don't. In fact, like, the top windows are barricaded.
That's boring. Alright, well, I will move, like, honestly, I'm gonna use all this excitement to be less noticeable and follow Ruffle inside. Yay!
no, I know, but like, oh,
Yeah. Oh yeah, I thought it was because it was the movie, but
I'm sorry, what's
actual Mexican Independence
yeah,
Day.
tomorrow's actual Mexican.
Oh, the proper one.
Yeah, the real one.
Right. Not the white people one.
Yeah, like not the weird Americans think it is.
The day where white people think it's appropriate for them to wear sombreros.
We were in Spirit Halloween,
Oh no!
Oh
and
wow.
they had like
It's
the
that
sombrero and the serape, and then just think where it's like your head is a cactus or your head is a jalapeno
That's kind of fun.
you
or your
gotta.
head is a taco, and I was like, I'm Mexican food fine, it's not but whatever. But I was just like,
Just
I was like, there's, it's like it's so
take it one step further. Just do all.
Yeah.
You're right. You're
Well,
right
and
in
it's
that
like-
line.
It's like
and
I'm half
specifically-
Native American, half Mexican right now.
Yeah, like and like, and specifically in this Spirit Halloween that we were in, like I didn't see any other like cultural, like I didn't
Yeah,
see any
cultural
like
costumes.
geisha costumes. I didn't see any like Native American like
The feather
costumes. I didn't see any of
headdress.
that. Just the fucking like sombreros, serapes and shit. And I was like,
It's the last bastion.
it's like I know a lot of you don't mean it like,
That makes it worse.
but it, oh.
You mean?
So I'm gonna use my fancy new bow.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Ooh, someone got magic shit.
Just gonna shoot. But I don't think she's out to completely murder people. But
Just a little bit. Just a little murder.
That's fine. Even you're guilt free. These people are clearly out to murder you.
yep.
Hey, I wouldn't mind a couple of days out of this, but you know, whatever. We're having
I
fun.
mean, drop them, sure. But less. I mean, if it happens, it happens. But less lethal than the last time when Oh,
So just a little
yeah.
less Batman.
A little less bad. A little less
I mean, technically a little more Batman.
You mean you're not exactly sure
I was just thinking more of the voice.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was like
me
instead
too.
of the grumble.
what is like. Maybe it's because of the legend that you attribute to this bow, but as you take it in your hand and take aim, very faintly in your ears, you can actually hear one of the battle hymns of Inishmore in your native language. About second verse. Yeah, you're like, I don't know if this bow actually sings, or it's just because like I got it from this badass dude,
Just
and
hyped right now.
yeah, or like because I revered this guy and I thought he was cool, and now, but full well that back home legends are real, so you're not sure it matters, but you can hear it clear as day. All right.
So yeah, Rethold is basically he's going to leap onto the corpse to grab the axes, and then use that crouch to launch himself through the door.
All right.
So that's my approach.
So that would be for you. Let's go with bronze since you're full athlete, unless you want to use finesse. But
No, that's a
bronze,
on that.
and then we'll go with athletics or brawl.
Oh yeah, bro.
And since
I've gone
you're
through
technically tackling the door.
Yes, I've gone through my share of windows and doors as well, so I'm gonna go with that.
Brawn plus brawl for you, Virginia.
Oh, fuck yeah.
9 dice.
Since you're wolf wrestling. For you, Jimena, you're baiting this dude to come in, and I would assume you're getting ready to stick him when he gets close enough.
Yep.
So let's go with finesse plus weapon. Marilena,
What?
what's your approach?
Oh, I mean,
What?
What?
I was gonna follow Russell in,
I
but
mean, you're playing a game. Like, this is not just like
Ooh, yeah.
our usual conversations.
I was going to go inside with Russell, but since I'm trying not to get attention on myself, I'm in the fact that it's been really like
I'm a distraction.
nuts
Oh yeah, absolutely.
and going to be coming in more slowly.
Yeah. So you're using him as a way to be subtle.
Yep.
Roll me a finesse. And let's go with theft if you have that, unless you make me another offer.
I have theft, but not a lot.
Is it more than hide?
No,
No.
my hide is better.
Let's go with high.
Well,
And you being yours is going to be a finesse and aim.
well, that's just what Oh wait. No, I guess that's 2.
2. Okay. Somebody fell down the stairs.
No, don't check Amanda.
That's a
Virginia,
good
7. I got that right?
I got 7, yes.
7.
I got 4.
I got 3 15s and a 13.
That's a 2.
Oh, wait.
I have 5 in bronze, so 10s explode.
Yeah.
So I roll my 2 10s. two
I got
raises.
5.
Wait,
15.
does rank 3 stack? Like if you have 2 things with rank 3 or more, you can re-roll B dice?
Yeah. That's how I've been doing it.
Re-roll that bad.
Okay.
Explosion!
I got 5, not 4.
Perfect.
So I forgot I have 4 dots in fitness. So. By 15.
That's right.
We got 315.
Become the stuff of
I don't think that 2 will help me at all, but that's fine. Whatever, it brought me up to Genya, so whatever.
7.
You got triple 7.
I was like, only at 6.
Evening.
If I could take that 1 from that 6 and put it here, it would have been 8.
Same.
Okay.
What'd you get, Evine?
4.
4.
raises.
Okay.
That doesn't mean
Redfield and Vinia, your actions happen at the same time.
Wait a second. Sorry, that would be 8.
What?
fuck you.
8?
15.
Yeah.
Alright, you can go first. Never mind.
It's like 15, yeah.
Yeah. We know how to play games.
That's right.
Sometimes.
It's the
Weirdly, I
math.
did it in the last roll, but this time I was like, oh, okay, I've got 4 sets of 15.
Yeah.
We got around the whole initiative thing on this one, so that's it.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Initiative is the whole game, so.
That, I think, is actually works better with us. For him.
Alright, well, Eating, you are first. Let's see here.
So I'm trying to figure out how to go that I didn't get the 8.
I give up. It's fine. 7 is more than enough for what we're doing to these people.
Yeah, I got
Oh,
2.
that's right. It's supposed to thunderstorm tomorrow. I'm so excited.
Okay.
Hope it does.
Evine, this guy is no match for your shot. In fact, you're so sure of it.
It's time for message.
You're so sure of it that you can almost see in your mind's eye the path your arrow will take. And if you believe it just so right now,
You can kill
this
Hitler.
arrow will go through this man's throat, killing him instantly, and will probably continue unimpeded and knock over the lantern in the back, giving you guys some even more cover to get into that safe house.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then it's going to continue onward.
Yeah.
Time.
A split second. Maybe I really should stop killing people. And then she sees the shot line up in mine and is like, that sounds worth it.
Alright, that sounds pretty cool, actually.
I'm going to let future you
Um,
do that.
That's future Evene's problem.
And because you have 8, Evine, I will let you basically just meld in the shadow you just created and be concealed from sight the moment your arrow shoots out.
Well, out here I'm all, I got a troll!
Question.
Yep.
So it says 10s explode plus 1 die.
Yep.
What does that mean?
That means you get your pen as one success, and
Okay,
then you
and then
re-roll it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure. Okay. I did it
It's like just repeating the same thing that
Yes.
I
Yeah.
was
So-
supposed to.
Yeah.
For those of you there, you see Evine sort of get to a crouch. You hear a sound. You see her target's throat, just like a fillet of blood, just pouring out of his throat, and just crumples down. And behind him, you see the lantern that was lighting everything get knocked off its perch, and now it's dark as shit. And Ian is nowhere to be seen.
Where is he?
Meanwhile, the two other gentlemen just turn around and is like, "Oh, what the hell?" And their comrade just hits the floor right after that. Just crumples. He's dead.
And then another one gets his
Yes.
throat ripped out.
And
And
never
there's
sees
a
the
growl
dog.
in the darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this glowing bitch.
Oh, I'm about to light shit up.
That's right.
So
Hey, by the time it gets to me, it'll be no one has seen me.
So I'd like to bank 3 of these.
okay.
For my next, because I want to roll it into an intimidate
Okay.
as after I come through that door for the next round.
I'll do you one better because you
Uh-oh,
rolled
bargains.
7.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
I will, if you pour all 7 into it, you'll grab your axes, you will shatter this door, and anybody in the vicinity over there will be stunned. So it's like an auto, you get an auto intimidate.
I'm gonna say no,
Okay?
because I want them to hear what I have to say after I come through that door.
Perfect.
So I'm gonna bank the 3
Bang 3.
and crash through that dark.
Rethold lands on that body, picks his axes out, and immediately, like, just in one leap,
Frog.
just frog leaps and tackles the door. It shatters. Like, that door just breaks to shit. There's like splinters that fly back, and Rethold just like rolls into his house.
They didn't reinforce it. All right. I was worried about that.
They didn't have time to.
That's half the fun.
And that will be their undoing. So you have 3 bands. I'll describe the scene next. At the same time,
Yeah.
Jenya, you're a wolf.
Yes.
Um,
Bark, bark.
The lack of light does not bother you, and your target is right in front of you. You can crush that man.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm aware.
Tackle him to the floor, and close your jaws around his throat. You look at Rethold and you're like, I can probably kill this guy and follow suit right after. So, if you use your successes for this, you'll be able to not only kill this man, but then leap inside following Rethold.
Yeah, because I want to get in as fast as possible. Cool.
So,
Gonna
2 bounds. You jump on this guy. Your front paws just push him down. He got slightly distracted by a lantern getting knocked out, and his back hits the floor, and you feel the air leave his lungs. And it's only a second, and your jaws are on his throat, and he was the one that yelled earlier.
never again.
He was the Elder Scrolls guard. Like, halt! You're violating the law. But there's a gurgle that escapes from his lips at this point, and you feel your teeth puncture his throat. He's done. You don't need to wait. He's done. He's not gonna recover from that.
And now I stalk in with blood dripping from my jaws.
That's right.
growling.
You make a leap, and you're right behind Rethold as the door just shatters into shit.
If they have any lights on in there, it's just Norman with huge Fenrir.
That's right.
Yep.
Legends are real.
I'm a Russian wolf. It's very
You know that.
yeah.
Himena, you gestured to this man to come and meet you, but now 3 of his comrades are dead.
Oh, yeah.
And you plunged into the darkness.
That guy's scared.
He hears it. And suddenly, there's a sweep of flame. She sets her sword on fire.
Alright.
And basically, in Castilian is like, looks like we're the only I'm going to kill you.
Sleep well.
But, you know, give me a reason not to. Come on. Come on, do it. Let me see.
Sell it to me.
My name is Jose. I regret my decisions.
I don't know if we've well learned enough of that.
I throw myself at the mercy of the Mendez and Mendez.
Right. No, you either because he does not want to surrender, is unable to comprehend what is happening to him, or he's too much shit has happened in too little time. You just hear him in Castilian. It's like, you bitch!
Oh.
You sorceress bitch!
Wrong answer. And she just plunges her sword right
Yes,
through his chest.
with all five, I will let you just basically lunge at him enough that you basically you pull his entire body on your flaming sword to the point where he hits your shoulder. Yep. He's a little bit of air escapes as long as you pull your sword out and fall to his knees. And rolls in with the rest. All four of them dead.
And then she just sort of casually saunters through the door.
I mean, me too at this point. I mean, there's nothing left to even see me do it, right?
The way is
That's
clear.
right. Well,
Come on in.
you're unseen in your approach. Distraction successful.
The rest of us are all too extra.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping for that. So thanks. Thanks for being exactly what I expected.
There are two people in the hall, Rethel, since you're the first to come in. There are two rooms on either side, and there is a stairwell that leads to the second floor, with under the stairwell an open door that looks like it leads to an empty kitchen. You see that there's a bunch of stuff still around, there's crates with things on it. You see a fair amount of weaponry in here, as they're thinking of reinforcing this place. And the two guys just basically they sort of spin around as the door just explodes behind them. One of them is just shielding his face because there's literally splinters of wood just assaulting him. And they're yours. They can't really act because it's you're making your entrance.
So my approach on this one is going to be, a straight up intimidate to get them to cow down. For the whole house, I'm going to be loud enough that anyone in other rooms can hear me. That the champions of those you would subjugate in this false crusade have come to leave a message. You can tell the tale with your own tongue, or let the burning ashes do it for you.
Righteous!
Perfect. Well spoken.
And everyone defecates.
Well, with the steel of your words, you feel that it's reaching those two men. One of them immediately bolts upstairs. He just leads inside the house, and
I want to pull him.
you hear him say "They're coming! They're coming! Get ready, they're coming!" And the other guy does not look at you, does not look at the wolf, does not look at any in the door frame, and bolts out outside the house. He goes past you, he brushes you, and he's done. Those of you who are still outside, he trips on the bodies on the way out. He drops his fucking sword, it was too much for him, and he's getting tangled in his cloak, and he's just like fucking trying to get it out, and like he looks like he's seen a genuine haunting. This man will probably remember this side for the rest of his life.
I guess the one upstairs with that you want me to roll for the one upstairs?
Yes, though although you can't see them yet. I will let you have a carry effect on that.
Alright, so go ahead and roll for it, and then just
Yeah.
make them first.
So
Okay.
we'll do the approach for the next
Alright.
round.
Alright.
Oh my gosh, how cute.
So does that mean other people
Other people
Okay, yeah.
can do their approach as well.
Because while I'm building up my intimidate, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
be marching upstairs. So if anyone
Before-
wants to get up there before me, whatever else, go.
Well, I mean, I've got to be before you.
Before any of you guys,
There's everybody else down here.
you haven't looked. Both of the doors to the side rooms are closed.
Oh, well, something fled, so I'm after that shit.
Independent of your approach, if you want to roll me a wits and warfare, if you have that,
Warfare. Oh, I have none of that.
or make me an offer to basically like try to analyze.
Analyze it like, spatially. Can I analyze it empathically? That's all I got there.
Yeah, scholarship might work. I will
Okay.
allow scholarship.
What's and function?
Yep. If you have warfare, you can roll that, and that's independent of your approach.
Oh, okay. Can I roll this? Yes. Cool. What was it?
What are we doing?
Wits plus warfare, or anything you deem appropriate to analyze the safe house. Maybe enough for if you don't have warfare.
I have one warfare.
And notice.
Scholarship for just one. Three,
4.
4.
Okay, I got 3. Not that I can tell anybody what I figure out, but I know what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I get in on that action, or
Yes,
or am
you
I-
can.
okay?
You can.
At least I have rolled all night. Oh, and I forgot to reroll on some stuff. Oh well.
Could reroll. I'm good.
One.
1.
Yeah.
Okay.
One for that.
Rethel, you're like, that man ran upstairs. The important stuff is upstairs.
That's right. Okay.
Cool. The rest of you, you're like, well, that safe house is 2 stories high. It's longer than it's wide. Chances are the hall is actually set upstairs. It's probably going to be the most guarded room in the house as well. But that is what the action would be. So you can expect some fiercer resistance, at least in terms of numbers. Jenya, you have 4, and you're like, yeah, this is an observation. This is an observation safe house. We got a bunch of weapons there. They barricaded the windows. They probably have some spots so they can watch the street below. This is the most defensible points in the house because stone walls all around. Like they don't, because there's buildings on either side. Like it would be much harder for people to flank them. You're
Yeah.
like, this is the place.
Yeah.
This is where they're gonna huddle up.
Cool.
If you were to build this, like, there's probably like rats. There's probably some makeshift barricades. Like, they're gonna be ready to defend this spot.
Oh yeah. I'm still going upstairs.
All right.
Do I get that too?
Yes.
I got 3.
You have 3. You
Like,
the action is upstairs, and yeah, you're.
Any other insights for the scholarship?
Not really, 'cause it's not about like the more like warfare stuff. You're like, well, looking at the house from the inside and the outside, like there's probably a larger room upstairs.
Too many hours every day.
That's right.
Okay.
Okay. Approach.
What do I see as I start coming up these stairs?
You see.
As we start coming up these stairs.
Yes. So as you head up, as expected, you see like a few doors going down, and like the wire room there, like is set like it's like a war room in one corner. You see that there's like benches. Imena, they look suspiciously like church pews, maybe. They've been like set up like almost. They can be used as barricades. You can have like shooters sort of sit behind that. You see in the back like there's a spot that's open for practice. You see circles drawn on the floor, which again, Jimena, you would recognize that as it's an Aldana training circle, right? Like where it's basically like, as you become more proficient, you step into a closer and closer circle, put you closer to your enemy, right? And closer to danger. You immediately realize this probably used to be a chapel that has now been changed into a makeshift like armory slash. The rooms on the side, you're like, that's probably where people sleep. And there's about like 2 people up there.
So what's right at the top of the stairs? Like a person, a piece of furniture? What's
There's a table with a person next to it, which then opens to the room with the pews where the rest of the folks are. If you want a full count, you count 11 people up there.
So as I come up the stairs, I want to shoulder into that table and basically table flip
Perfect.
while shouting, "You dare pervert this place of worship!" And I banked 10 whizzes.
All right.
It will be sanctified with your blood and returned to its practitioners.
All right.
Go for the group that are close, like together.
Yeah. This is the guy that ran from upstairs. Like he's grabbing like guys over there. They're starting to take posts behind some of the pews. You see one of the guys like sort of pulling out like a rifle.
I'm focused on the one who fleed.
All right. Same hole as last time. Yeah.
You won't be going any farther.
Evine, nobody saw you enter. You're a ghost.
Heavily including us.
Touch it. Touch it.
It booms. Look at it. It
Touch
booms and it like recoils like one of those
Yeah.
wet napkins.
Well,
11 con you went after Milla.
She's too busy having bath time.
Yeah, that's right. That
I just like it.
arrow's
It's just
gonna
like-
explain itself.
Wow.
2, 4, 6.
Only 6 this time.
At you month's worth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Evine. What's your approach?
I'm continue to be
Yep.
in an undisclosed location and start shooting.
All right.
You're gonna shoot 2 bows with both ends while flying through the air.
I'm not gonna do it.
Like,
You wouldn't know if you did it or not. So.
Nobody will
I
ever know.
guess I would lost whispering.
It's like Basil's weird tits. He was cool. Nobody will ever know.
It's like Invisible Boy. No, turn invisible.
Yeah.
Too cool.
All right. Jimena, you mean it'll be a finesse plus aim again?
So, if we're coming up the stairs, a guy at the table this way.
Yep. Well, Rethel is about to change that
Yeah,
shit. That
we'll
table is
to
about
destroy
to.
that.
It's on the edge of that table, and I was like,
It's about to be used as a weapon.
And then in front is where the pews are. I'm just trying to.
So the stairs goes up. There's a table right next to the stairs there, and then past that, like the pews are starting to be
Okay.
sort of angled a little bit,
Okay.
and there looks like up front there's a table, like it looks like a bit like a war room where the altar would have been normally. Like there's a little base.
Feels now.
If you look in that direction,
What they gonna do?
there's actually a man at the very end, like close to the table, like surrounded by 2 guards, and he's actually wearing priestly robes of the Vatican Church, but he's also holding like a short axe and like a broadsword.
Well, that's fucked up. So, Jimena's gonna probably see that guy eye glitch and just fucking.
she's a Tarantino heroine now.
That's right. And like a Tarantino heroine, there's guys in between you and this man.
Oh, no, he's the one that I can already tell. So she's making. Her sword's already drawn. She's making for that guy. And she will cut down anyone who gets in her way
That's right.
on the way there.
Six. Yeah. Evine, how many?
8.
8. Danya? Arlena?
Okay. So I get up there. Is there anything interesting on scene?
On ceiling? No. It's a little like, it's not super high because, you know, second story, right?
Yeah.
It has a little bit of an arch in there, like sort of like small wooden church-esque, right? With a couple wooden columns along the side. And you see spots where like those rooms, the room was probably like wider at some point. It looks like they created like little barracks rooms like on the side. These are probably like closets with a cot in them, just from what you're expecting.
Who's furthest back? Is it that guy with the
Oh yeah, the one furthest back is the guy dressed in Vatican priest robes,
This is about to get wrecked.
like this.
which? Oh, is there anybody next to him that looks particularly like I'm guarding this guy? Or does he need guard?
There's 2 dudes next to him, but your immediate impression when looking at him is like he probably doesn't need guards. That guy is like a good head taller than the other 2 there.
Okay. I want to clear a path for him. of those guys that just kind of pull him through as many of the other guys as I can.
Okay. Alright.
I'm not sure what I would roll for that. But I mean,
It's resolve.
Okay. I can use resolve. And what? I don't know.
What do you think you have that would apply most?
I mean, I'm like weaponry, athletics, I don't know. I've never used this before, so I have no idea.
Which one do you have the most? Athletics, weapon?
I have weapon is one,
Then go with weapon.
which is not very high, but you know.
Still.
Okay. That would be 5.
Okay. Alright.
Just a couple spots. I don't feel the urge to wash my hands when I touch you.
Rethold, you are first. And you barrel through. Don't even break stride as you lift this table of the ground very just swiftly collides with the guy that was close to it. The table and the guy flow backwards into one of the pews. The guy just gets smashed in between the two. He's heard of a very, very satisfying crack. You're not actually sure if he's dead, maimed for life, or just out cold. At this point, you're not quite sure if you care. And you just launch into your invective, and you feel the room just like reeling back from this. Like people are still getting ready, and you just feel like this hush come over the room. You almost feel like if it wasn't for this man in the back, you might have just cleared room for this move. There's a lot of uncertainty at various levels. Some of the guys are just like, alright, we're gonna meet a man here, I don't care. Some of them look like they're very much on the edge of wavering, including the guy who you just ran from downstairs. He's now like, oh god, like
Yeah,
you could feel it from him.
I feel my compatriots swoop in, and at that beat, I just settle myself in front of that stairway, which I assume is the only way in or out,
Yes.
and just sort of plant. There's enough room to get by me, sort of giving this impression that if
someone wants to leave, they can. But also that if you're staying, you're staying.
Yep. Forever. Until the end of your life. Everybody else in the room.
Oh, and of course, I drop my cloak or whatever, everything, and it's just the scars. And yeah,
that's right.
That's what
shirtless. Yeah. Everybody else in the room, because Grethel banked so many raises, and because he's such a paragon for your cause right now. And
guess what? I'm like a bard.
And you're basically like, you feel almost this living sense of like, fuck you, kill these fuckers. You feel a strange bloodlust sort of fill you.
All of us?
Yes. Atop what you normally would feel for these people, right? Not like a mindless bloodlust, like more like a, you feel the call of battle. Every subsequent roll you make, you can add one die to your pool for the rest of this engagement.
That is some serious party.
We're here to work.
So is this gonna be all
No, we're gonna turn it to the community. This is a place of worship.
Evine.
Yes. Do you say that it's safe to say she is stealthed enough that if she starts singing along with whatever song is in her magical bow head, it wouldn't necessarily reveal where she is?
Yes.
That was more scary.
He's just gonna, because that, I think that's what she would do, feeling the surge of morale, and she's happy enough to just be like, oh, I know this.
Yes. And yes, you know the words to the song. You've performed this song previously. You might even have performed it at court. And yes, whatever Rethel did at this point just like bolstered it. You don't hear it so much as you feel it beating in your temples.
It's really a song echoing from somewhere. This she was closest. How far it is.
He's got two friends.
Yep. Sure does.
Closer.
Would you say 4 reasons for that?
Yep. You're hiding. So here's my offer. You got 8 races. You spend 6 on this. You'll remain hidden even after your shot is fired. You spend all 8. Not only is your shot gonna be hidden, you'll be able to camouflage the angle at which it's coming, so that they have no idea. Oh yeah.
Why not? Let's do all.
All right. As you sing your song, you let go of your shot, and you almost feel it curve into the air.
I feel like I am feel that.
One of the guys next to the dude dressed as a priest now has an arrow sticking to the side of his eyes, and it almost looks like it came from the side of the room. But those doors are closed. What the fuck? How is that possible? But yeah, he crumples and falls down. Your arrow very clearly lodged into a sack of the arrows coming out. On this the bearded man in the robes doesn't even look at him fall. And you see some of the guys behind the pews like look in the completely wrong direction.
Well,
Perfect.
That's canon now.
Perfect. That's exactly what it was. Right, Jenya and Jimena.
Jimena basically just sword on starts.
Yep.
Charge
This
it
is
on
Kill
that.
Bill Volume 1 right now.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of guys between you and your target.
Oh, yeah, she's ready.
You got 6 on there, and because you're so driven to reach your goal, if you spend all 6, I will let you fall 2 dudes and continue your forward motion.
Jimena's got right now, so she's just
No, in the comic book, that the top panel across the 2 pages are
Yep.
the 2 dialogue,
Yep.
and then the rest is you
Yep.
looking out as 2 dudes.
That's right. Basically, like top of your sword, you lunge and hit that guy in the throat, and you sort of pull your sword back, and the guy sort of follows and couples forward. You use that forward momentum, you slash at the guy like right across the face, and you feel bone sort of shatter with the point of your sword, and he topples over a pew. As you sort of are in a solid footwork position. There's more dudes around you, and you're in a position where you're like, none of you fuckers will stop me. Alright, Jenny is next.
Well,
Oh shit.
I thought,
what happened?
Yes, John.
I was just very careful.
who's after Zanya?
Marilena.
Well, I still do what I was gonna do. I mean, how many more people?
Well, there's one dude next to the priest guy who's reaching for a sword, so you can actually pull him forward and couple a couple more guys along the way.
Yep, I'm gonna do.
Alright.
Trying to keep catnip off. Yeah. I'm like, that's impossible.
So you're sort of playing with this power, and in your head you envision it like almost like a whip or a rope, right?
Oh, yeah.
This is how it helps you like envision that, and you reach your hand forward, and you sort of imagine
And
a cord in your hand sort of wrapping around that dude's neck, and then you sort of close your fist and you just give it a good yank forward, and you actually feel it. Like you feel the pull and you feel his weight, like as more as if you're dragging a rope.
I figured
Right.
once I saw the door was closed.
And
No worries.
everybody else in the room, you see Marilena like sort of not you, Jimena, because
Yeah, no.
you're driven, but everybody else sees Marilena like sort of reach her hand forward, and she closes her fist and tugs it back, and the other guy on the other side of the priest dude gets lifted off his feet and comes tumbling into two other dudes, like smacking them in the back, and they all come like bowling forward, clearing him even more of the path towards this priest man. Yeah, they kind of topple over pews, like over one another. Jenya, you're up.
Jenya spits out the vocal cords of the last guy on the floor.
Oh yeah.
Just blood everywhere, and then pounces for, like I said, a guy who ran away at the cluster of people he's grabbing. Because that's what you said.
Yep.
Cool. I'm gonna go over there and rip them to shreds now.
Alright.
And I got 6 for that shit.
Yes. You spend all 6 on that. You will murder 2 of them. The guy with the rifle and the guy who ran from you. So you basically leap onto the guy who ran almost at the same time as he turns around. You know, like he's sort of like patting the other dude on the back, and he turns around, and the moment he turns, you descend on him, and he raises his arm to sort of protect his throat, right? And ends up being worse for him, because then your jaws basically close on his face. And you basically just bite and like mad dog him like for a bit, and just like basically rip his face off. He just like falls face first. Yep.
So it's
What?
Could you turn on the light above you?
And as you swing
I
this
thought I
guy
heard someone
back,
say that
your
something.
fur at this point
Got it.
is just covered in blood. You look like a crazy ass like wolf, completely rabid. You put your paw on the rifle of the other guy and just like forces down onto the pew, and you use it to ride and bite him like straight in the throat. You just like tumble back, and then the other guy that was on the other side, like trying to prepare his weapon, oh what the fuck? And it's just like backing up.
Yes, fucking dog!
Yep, he's stuck in between 2 pews.
And me.
The column and you on top of his friends, who's like still
Gurgling
twitching and gurgling.
And one more larynx spit.
Yep.
Your next fucker.
Pick all vocal cords and try to make some sort of instrument.
Yeah. We'll make you a lute.
That was sound like vampire.
Right?
Morale is looking low in the room. And then you feel almost a hush come over the room, and the man in the road in the back says, "Death is coming, my brothers, but we will defend this place with our lives. A fight is righteous.
It's here.
This is the design chosen for us by Theus himself, and we will never question it." He sort of steps forward, and you feel almost like the same kind of tug as, you know, Rethel sort of gave you. And instead of that, you is like sort of calming. Like they're sort of you know, the fear sort of descends. They're not like, yeah, we're gonna, they're not amped up, but accepting fate. And with that, like, sort of takes a step forward, and he looks straight at you, and just like Next round.
Does the bonus die transfer to me, or can I have hero point?
You can have a hero. The bonus die that you now have because of breath. With the path cleared by Marilena, you can almost picture the path. You're like, there's a dude here. I can leap on this dude and right in front of this fucker. You can basically see like a fucking parkour path for you to reach this man. Yeah. Some dudes.
Okay, yeah. Parkour.
Yep.
Except it doesn't work unless you show parkour.
Oh my. Ow! Ow! Ow!
Yeah, Humana is. And now that guy's hurt, he's sort of is. Now it's all over. So yeah, she's gonna. There we go. That's it.
Rethel? Is there anything near Rethel, or is anything?
Well, yeah. Near Peter, he looks like he's looking in this direction because he looks like he's trying to find an archer who's not there. Outside of that, there's one guy in front of Jimena. There's 3 dudes on the floor that Marilena pulled one that they just bowled over one another because they couldn't see him coming from behind them. So they're trying to get up.
So I'm going to growl, shout a coward's weapon, do an open stance towards him, and try and chop the pistol in half,
Right.
out of his hand. But I just want it to be another intimidate.
Perfect. You roll me intimidate.
Because once he's disarmed, he can leave.
Yes.
Until he's dead.
3.
Almost 4.
Heard that.
One short.
What is
Again, for these one again.
this bad?
Yes.
Bad.
So what I would like to do is I'm going to kill the guy in front of me, shift back into me, and point the gun at the next person.
Fantastic.
Brawl plus brawn.
Yes.
7.
Alright.
How is this is lit with like candles, right?
And if that aids in the parkour, there is a motherfucking chandelier up in here.
That'll come in handy. Actually.
Right above the front pews.
No, I was actually wondering if those have been up there too.
I was about to say the right.
Can I have a sword?
Are you done with this shit?
Definitely. How many do you get?
6.
6?
How many people are still alive?
Not many. There's 3 pitifully standing on the ground. There's 1 being accosted by a rifle. There's 1 standing in the Limena.
And then
Of the 3 on the floor, there's 1 that is like he rolled and he's now like trying to pull a pistol and he's about to be targeted by Virginia.
Can I count just by looking around which one of these people was the most terrified? Or doubting? Self-doubting? Do I need to roll
It was
something?
like probably the one for me.
Yeah.
Just watch me rip across.
Just immediately, like, that guy is... He's at the rope's end.
But he's probably
The guy in front of
Somebody I can
Rethel...
actually talk to that will still be alive.
Oh yeah.
The guy in front of Rethel looks like he's wavering. But there's a strange calm over them. Again, probably the effect of
Weird.
the gentleman in the back. Yep.
I don't even think that
Does he
anybody
breathe
alive for
magic?
me to talk to by this, so I'm not even gonna bother.
He's gonna bleed something.
If there was a side room or something where there's like a desk or papers or something like that.
There's a bunch of side rooms which are probably barrack rooms. Papers and the desk that might contain stuff are tucked in the corner in the back of the room near the priest guy.
So
Because
wait,
it looks like a war room. It looks like a big,
Yeah.
large desk.
do I have to pull things from life?
Yes.
Darn it.
Because tables and chairs don't have a fate that you can discern.
I should though.
That table sure had a fight.
Well, it sure did. It was powerless to stop its fate.
I wasn't really wanting to do this, but oh well. I think I'm just gonna blind change this. Can I do that
Okay.
without reading?
Are you changing it too?
I just had it. Oh wait, here it is. Sorry, wasn't sure I was gonna do it or not.
The other way. Oh wait, are you looking for hubris or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Petrification stuff. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go with we'll go under confidence.
Okay.
You're gonna do, I assume that I can use sympathy for this.
Yes.
As for, resolve?
Yep. Evine?
I'll be shooting specifically at the guy who was being encouraging for me.
Wait, which one was that?
The guy who did his own kind of bargain type thing.
Oh, yeah, the priest.
You already know.
Okay. Alright. Wow. Okay. Evine. You're going first. You actually take your shot and you take your
You have
aim.
to tell me how that looks later.
You still feel the battle hand in your ears. And your arrow is perfectly aimed right at this dude's heart. You pull the string, your arrow flies, and you feel something pushing at your projectile.
Yes.
Something slowing it down almost. And you see this guy is pointing a sword still at Jimena for a quick second. You see him look away and raise his axe, and you just twist the arrow enough, and it sticks him in the side and grazes him.
That's some bullshit. Oh, I wish it was me.
But he deflected it a little bit, enough that it didn't kill him, only grazed him. But you know full well he was aware of the shot.
Yeah.
It's almost like something tapped him on the shoulder.
Right.
He's wounded. You actually see some dark blood starting to pool under his robe, and he sort of pats it a little bit, and then looks back like he doesn't know where you are. Like he looks in the back of the room, and he looks a bit in the wrong direction, and he looks back at Jimena and sort of shakes his head.
Yeah, I'm sure his zealotry affords him some fun powers.
Well, I don't think she'd announce anything about that, but anyone paying attention will see deflected and possibly deflect arrow.
Yep.
I mean, I'm definitely looking at him right now, so. That will see.
Who knows? Alright, Eugenia and Marilena. They're going at once.
Okay.
Eugenia. This guy almost utters a plea. Almost. He looks like he might be starting to get through it. He never gets through. You're on him and he's on the ground. And you take a couple good solid bites. And he's done. And then, since you got 7, if you'd like, I will let you fire that pistol.
Right in.
That's right. So you change back to yourself,
Roll to my knee and just.
raising the pistol, and then the other guy that was rolling and trying to raise the pistol of his own is so stop dead in this track when you shoot him, and he goes back into the two guys. He's not dead, but
But he's down.
he's down and he's hurt, and he has no idea what happened because nobody was holding a gun when he rolled. Marilena, you blindly reach into this guy, and change his hubris and tap the strand to get it activated.
It's like the same.
Fuck, what?
Anyway.
And you feel like it worked. You see him sort of like look around, like almost like a little bit like in confusion, and you see him take a slight step back, and then he sort of recomposes himself.
Okay.
You feel a tightness in your chest for just a second, and you can swear somebody's hovering over your shoulder, and you don't hear it, but more you feel somebody whispering to you, be careful, you don't always get to choose how the story ends.
Okay.
And the tightness in your chest sort of subsides.
Okay.
Well, they said that they have papers.
Isn't that
Honestly,
or
exactly what I was seeing there looked like a fate which was coming. So, yeah, straight up. Somebody here is doing it. And it's not just me.
Rethel, you descend upon this guy, and with your axe, like this guy was taking aim, and you cleave down, and the pistol is cut right after the trigger. It doesn't explode, but it's a useless stub now. The pistol is dropped immediately. Can you see Castilian?
no?
Okay.
Just stay in and invest in.
I completely forgot
I think
there
I'm
and went to
or no.
scratch it.
You
I had to
should
get
you should make this other
No, I don't.
I think I'm the only one that does.
He drops to one knee.
Am I the only one that speaks a language that isn't my own?
You
No, because I can speak Panache and Mon.
Unless
Okay,
I get
okay.
more
Pretty
from
sure.
scholarship
And
gods, I
Yeah.
don't
And
know.
common.
I just know the
you would recognize it, at least some of the words. This is like the kind of stuff that people say when they're in service. But he's not looking at the altar. He's not looking at the priest. He's looking at you. Mena, he's reciting prayers. He's asking for mercy the same way you would ask for mercy before you confess your sins. But he's focused on ritual. Like,
Not sure you're going to get anything from that over there.
you now have a disciple.
No, that's yeah. So if no one else is coming at me, bro, and he starts with the rapid fire.
Yep.
I'm like, you are not without weapon. You may leave peaceably and think on your values, for you are not a warrior here.
A grown-ass man weeps. He's at your feet, and he's basically, like, he says a bunch of shit in Castilian that you don't understand, and then, like, he's sort of, he looks very, like, pitiful, and then he looks up at you, and he's like, show me.
Like the grin shifts because I've been smiling the whole time. And Jose and all, and I'm like, turn that grip around. It's a club.
Yes. And he stands up. The calm is gone. And you almost can feel the blood in his temples as he releases the cloak and drops his hat. And his pistol is now a club. And he stands there in all his righteousness, ready to fight his previous partners.
What is your given name?
Oh God, not anymore.
¿Cómo se llama?
It's in the end.
I'm loose.
You are now Jose Luis Mendez.
And he steps forward. And he looks at the bold people, like the wounded guy, and he looks at the priest, and he says, I am Jose Luis Mendez.
Yes!
Flutter.
We came to church.
Yep.
Came to church, people. Came to church.
A flutter almost like catches his clothes. So he has like this stub of a pistol in his hand.
Pistol grip is this cudgel.
And it might as well be the hammer of God.
That's right. This is how we do.
Jimena, you have a clear path for this man.
Jimena, she takes the path, she runs, as she comes up to the guy, she like kind of cardboard off one of the pews and just slashes him with her sword. As she is doing that, she reaches up to the chandelier and grabs a fire off of one of the candles with her free hand. I believe, she's ambidextrous. She can fight it.
Yep.
So, sword in left hand, tuck the fire in the right behind her back, and goes for the main.
Alright. Yes. You basically leap over a guy. You walk over a few pews going forward, just your feet hitting over a ninja. You leave for the chandelier and you almost look like you're gonna grab onto it, and you grab the flame, tuck it behind your back, and just land with barely escaped, like in front of this man with the sword lifted up. And he sort of pats the blood aside, and then like puts the axe to the side and sort of raises the sword to meet yours. As he accepts your offer of jewel. He actually looks at you as you come down and basically says, I know what you are. We all do. I may die here, but I will die furthering the great work.
What makes you think you are?
Yes, we shall see. The sword is raised. Alright. There's some leftovers here, which you can probably control at this point. So we'll break turn order real quick, so we can go to this duel.
Wait.
And
Can I feel like this is what I was gonna do, but I think I want to do it now. I want to see it. I want to see the wave.
okay.
Because I feel there's somebody else here or near that is affecting fate that isn't me, and I want to be, by seeing, like, reading people around, I want to see if we can find, like, this first name.
I'm gonna try to figure out who that might be. Okay.
I mean, this is, like, wild that's happening.
That would be wits plus empathy.
I shout at the duel, die well. To either one specifically. And then I start singing one of the calls for when there's an honor duel. And I just sort of keep time slapping the axe against my chest and waiting to see if anyone decides to keep
moving. Like, if you're feisty, I got you. But if you're good to see this go down, you know, this is. I'm here to respect the. I'm here to respect the ritual.
Perfect. Genia, the man you shot and bowled into two other men, they're pretty much at your mercy at this point. They see you walk towards them.
I got
They're not
Already
cowed.
booking blood.
They're not cowed.
I
Like,
got 6.
how much do you get?
6.
6? They're not having a complete turn moment like you newly christened
Jose Luis.
Jose, because that man got pushed so far down fear that now he has renewed faith.
Coming around.
No, it worked that way. Damn it.
It works that way for me. I'm working on the whole city.
And when they see you approach covered in blood, Spence
Especially
pistol, the Spence pistol, like you look like you just bit into like fucking raw steaks for a solid hour.
I look like I ate a cow bowl
Yep.
before doing it.
They make no move. They're sort of like they're on the ground, like both of them like raise their hand. Like one of them raised one hand because he's still patching the bullet hole you give them, and they're basically like.
With still a gun aimed, I take a glance to Ref.
Quick question.
Yep.
For the purpose of my duel that I'm about to engage in, do I still get that extra die since I am still
You
in
better believe it. Rethel sanctified your duel.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Like I said, I give a quick look
Is that a
to
blow?
No, I don't have
I give a quick look to Rethel, my lip rolled. To these three not cowering, but like
yeah, they don't look.
as a at a pause in the song, almost as if it's a spoken beat in the verse. I say, are they warriors deserving of warriors' death, or are they cowards who will leave with their shame?
she put the gun into her back.
Jose actually steps close right to you, and he's wielding the pistol, and he looks at the three of them, and then he turns to you, like he was creepily calm, right? And he's like,
He speaks the word. Lesson 1.
he's like,
All right, lesson 2. Lesson 1 was you're never unarmed.
these ones are it for the glory and money, father, and you should kill them.
Father? Oh, dear.
Glory, that is noble. Money, that only serves purposes. Fortune is not. Bind them and gag them, they shall be judged.
Okay. Simply uncomfortable with this, but whatever. I'm busy.
And she's not too nice about it.
Yeah, they don't resist.
And she gets into the one that she shot. If you move, I'll take out myself.
He is cooperative. He gives a couple of dirty looks at Jose a couple times, but Jose is unshakable.
Oh, no, if they're stink eye, no. They ask for mercy, and if they're not going to be placid, that means they still got fight in them.
Okay.
Marlena, you sort of focus and you look at the weave.
I can't kill something I found.
You see the weave around all of you guys. You see the strands that you manipulated. They're brighter right now. You figure probably because of your united cause and because of Red Bull. you see the equivalent on the other side. And the man
Nothing
in
was-
front
Oh,
of
just
you
open on that.
Yeah.
um,
I never goes in the one that got
yes, has a few strands like going to them, like off into ether. These have been made.
But
They've
there's,
been created.
but they're in a direction, but they're further out.
Yes. And you can see that one of them is fading. Like it's separated from there.
Huh?
And because you know
That bitch Bailey.
there was a blessing on this man, and the blessing has come to pass. And almost you just flash back and you see that arrow that should have killed him. And you see the actual strand attached to him reach out and pull the arrow.
Those blessings can last like a while, right? Yeah, I think he was doing it. I don't know how I can prove it, but it definitely
You can't identify who it is because they're not here.
right.
But somebody has blessed this man. You also can tell he probably doesn't realize it.
Well, if she's a busy fate witch worth of salt, no, she wouldn't realize it.
Your changing of the hubris has like beaten him a little bit. Like there's more doubt in him now, but he's convinced that these are gifts that he received because of his faith.
He's probably gonna die before I can kill him anything, but we'll see. I'm gonna let the duel decide first.
The sword is raised towards you, Jimena, and the man says, I am Father Simon. I was a chaplain during the Run of the Cross. I served the Inquisition faithfully, and I will bleed for it if that is what the case requires. Alright. What is your move?
She is going to start.
Yeah. So you can roll a dex plus finesse, and then you have dueling moves. Yeah.
Yeah, I got
She's got reason.
I got 6.
So you can basically make a number of these maneuvers around. You can spread any and all of your raises amongst all of them. Like, there's some of them like lunge that requires you to spend all your raises to do. You cannot do the same maneuver once during the same turn.
She's gonna start. I'm just gonna use one of them at the moment. Get a good slash.
Okay?
Start it off with that.
Okay. How many raises are you spending on that?
I'll use 2.
2?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. You sort of turn around and your eyes both meet, and you immediately take a quick slash at him, and his axe raises to sort of parry your sword out of the way. Your sword does not find flesh, but you still have raises.
Next move. So the axe. The axe is parried with the sword.
Yep.
Right? we'll use another 2
Okay.
for that.
So you deal 1 wound with that thing. And then you try to attempt to reach for the axe, which you do manage to reach. So grab the wood of the axe and set it ablaze with your fire, expending the fire in your hand in the process. So he gets wounded by your sword. He's sort of reeling back from getting the axe set on fire, and before he drops it, he sort of opens his hand and then forms a fist, and then just punches you right in the face. Bash. So you take 1 wound, and the next time you deal wounds this round, you will deal 3 less wounds.
Can I tell if the other strand's still there?
Yes, there's some other strands there.
No, I mean like the one that was connected out wherever.
Yeah, there's some sort of leading out.
Or
You're not sure those are blessings.
Okay. So there was the one.
What was that?
Just since there was the one.
Yeah. The one looks more like connections. Strangely, there's none leading to the man of the suit. Yeah. There's no strands connecting him to any of the man.
With none of the other men? That's really weird. Sure, make of that.
You have 2 raises left, right? Okay. You actually, right after you get punched, you see the sword raise in a slash coming towards you. And if you spend your 2 raises, you're going to be able to parry it.
Okay.
There's 2 raises on this, so you can either take the wounds or and save those 2 for another move and maybe do a riposte, or you can
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
it's 3, so you would take 3 wounds from it,
Okay.
and then you have 2 raises left and you can riposte them.
She's gonna do that.
Okay. How many ranks of weaponry do you have?
I have 3.
Okay. He raises his hand in a slash and sort of manages to find your side, and immediately after that, when you're still recoiling from the slash, like you basically just attack him right back, and he has to take a step back to put some space between the 2 of you. You see some of his blood start to grip on the floor as he grits his teeth. Alright, give me another roll.
You want roll again?
Yes.
And then it's about to
Unless
start.
you have some raises left. I think they should all be expended.
Keep dropping them on your feet.
It's weird.
The axe has clanged to the floor. It's still on fire. And,
Do we want that to happen?
well,
I mean,
it's threatening to catch the rest of the wood on here on fire. So, depending on how attached you are to this little community chapel.
I mean, I would advise everybody else to clear it out.
Well, if no one else is obviously a threat, then yeah, me and Jose would go over and start stamping out that sort of thing. I'm like,
The moment you leave, he's on it. You don't even need to tell him. He follows.
I like environmental effects in fucking fighting games, but you know, I want this
Yeah.
to
Well, honestly, we need to make sure we can find things.
All right, now. Okay. Your opening move.
And then his opening move, now that she's on the ground, is to hit, actually. And grab one of the things off the belt
Mm-hmm.
and just like smash it on the floor in front of him. And if everything works out the way she wants it to, if she got the right one, it should smoke up.
Okay.
And,
Let's see if it does.
oh yeah. Do I need to roll to see what it is?
I got you. You smash this thing on the ground, and you wait for the smoke to come. It doesn't. But it smells real bad suddenly. Like, real bad. Like
stop
this.
doing that, man.
I know.
And you see him, like, sort of, he's about to make a move and sort of step forwards. And, like, he's not blinded, but, like, his eyes are tearing up. Like, he's just like, oh. Like, so you prevent him from taking his actions, so you can take another one. You guys smell all of this. It is cooped up in here. The windows are boarded. And there's this horrible smell that just came, like, somebody, like, grabbed, like, a big tuft of hair and just lit this shit on fire.
Well, while he's distracted, he's just gonna fucking lunge. Spend the rest of
Alright. Spend the rest of your action at your raises, which is 4, right?
Yeah, if that wasn't, if I didn't need a raise to throw the thing down, then yeah, it would be 4. Otherwise, it'd be 3.
Yeah, so it's 3.
Yeah.
Alright. So he raises the sword to try to push yours out of the way. It doesn't quite work as he anticipated, and your attack does hit him. He does backhand you immediately to sort of push you out of the way, so you take another wound, and you see him try to do the same thing to you, like backhand you and immediately follow it with a lunge. And immediately, like, the wound that he suffered from the arrow earlier, as well as where you just hit him, start to bleed profusely. As he takes a step forward, and, like, the strength leaves his sword arm as he falls to his knee. Merlina, 3 of those strands kind of to him just snap at once. They don't vanish. They snap. You can almost hear them.
I say, you lost because the person you were fighting did not even need the support you.
He's on his knees, and he's sort of
You've
like,
been abandoned, but it's not by Theus, but it's by a fate wish.
he's sort of patching his wounds, and he looks like he doesn't quite know exactly what happened. Like, his sword like clangs on the ground, and he's just like, it's like he felt he could fight this battle, and his strength just left him, like his body just betrayed him, and he's bleeding more than he thinks he should be, right? And he looks at you and just like shakes his head, and then he looks back at you and says, "No, no. Theus will never abandon me."
You do not know if this abandoned you or not. She certainly did.
He just loses his cool immediately and just yells. Like, it's cooped up, it smells bad, and it's but
Did you put that
Yeah,
fire
this-
out?
yeah.
Yeah, we snapped that out right away. Yeah.
he yells,
Sorry, I didn't want the whole place.
"Theus will never abandon me," and then he looks straight at you and he's like, "Do it, Rich. I'm ready."
Is that
I start screaming.
she holds her sword
Just.
out of him, and then she just kind of scratches right there, and then she just sort of walks. She drops the sword and walks away to wherever the closest candle
Right.
lantern is. Gets it. She doesn't drop the fire, she just heats her hand up really hard, like really hot. And then she walks back over.
Yeah, I'm screaming, "Fight! Die a warrior's death!"
It's like, oh no. She wants to do that. That's not fun. And she walks up and just takes her finger and like burns.
It's like the next no, I'm just kidding.
Like, no, I'm trying to think of what the right word is. But like,
Continue.
no,
Okay, I'm not going like
no, it's not. I don't know what word I'm looking for. She basically burned like a brand into his forehead. And I was like, your father never came from Theus.
But yeah, I spit.
Your
And
father came from one of them. My father came from Theus. I was born in this. Bitch. Like, who's got his favor now? I don't think it's him.
Can I roll?
And then she burns her
this
finger
more
through
convincing.
his eyeballs.
Oh dear.
There it is.
Okay, maybe not.
And they find the corpse. Its eyes will be burned out. I go ahead. Take her false beast or something like that. I don't know what the word is.
As your fingers, he looks at you straight, but then as your fingers like get close to his eyes, you hear him muttering, and you know why. You hear him muttering, "Couldn't have been abandoned. Couldn't have been abandoned. Couldn't have been abandoned." And after a while, he stops grumbling.
You feast.
when we hear the thump,
Yes.
I nudge Jose and I say, "A warrior is faithful. Perform the rites of the fallen warriors as is proper. We shall take these swine outside and see what their fate is."
As you say. And he actually pulls the stub of a pistol in his belt and goes and starts to gather bodies.
Yeah,
Like,
we
look
made
at
a mess.
papers.
We gotta clean it up.
You
Does
absolutely
he have
can.
any on him too? Like that guy?
No, not on him. There's plenty on the table.
Okay, look at him.
There's letters exchanged with some of the agents of the Cardinal. There's like instructions on how to set up the safe houses. You actually find 3 other similar safe house locations from elsewhere in the city. There's many, many more apparently on the way. Cardinal Verdugo is putting the weight of the Inquisition to bring order to San Felipe.
I mean, I pocket all that, but I'm like also looking for names. to
You
know
find
later.
a letter signed by Sword Captain Voritelli.
So that-
Vortelli. You know him. You heard the name. He's the commander of the Prophet Sword here in San Felipe. and it's addressed to Father Simon. And it basically says,
No.
this stronghold is yours. You will maintain it with your life. It will be our base of operations in this part of Saint Felipe. Doing so will erase your disgrace, and you will return to the good graces of His Holiness the Cardinal. Complete His will or die in His service. I do not care which.
I mean, I almost like want to pull that shit in my hand.
Well, now I feel even better because he was trying to like get his shame back, and now he's a corpse with like carved
Bitch.
Yep.
No, I just wanted it to be a meme where you see this dead priest and you can just write like your own thing on there.
So me and
What was that guy's name? Sword Captain.
Bertelli?
Boytelli.
Yeah, me and Louise, I put some of my gear back on, I go grab my pack, and we start laying out the bodies out in the street. And I'm like, these men may or may not have had faith. Perform the rites for them, so that if they deserved it, they can go on to Valhalla or your heaven, whatever.
Don't blaze.
So they can be well appreciated.
Basically, I'm treating him like a child,
Right.
but teaching these lessons that
Re-teaching them.
our children learn, and sort of adjusting. But I have no reason to believe your faith isn't as solid, because the war we're fighting here is of men, not of faith.
That's absolutely right.
Jenny actually goes through and starts picking up weapons
Yeah.
and
There's a lot of stuff.
filling up bags full of bullets.
Firearms.
Yeah.
There's melee weapons. If there are some that you would like to grab, they come in all shape, range, and sizes. Rapiers, sabers, side swords.
As Luis gets to praying, I go back up into the chapel and I kick out a few of the windows to get some air.
Oh yeah, it smells real bad. And
Hey,
it smells like blood and death and stink.
I grabbed it while I'm sorry. I wasn't supposed to.
It's worth all the
Say,
Eating reappears. As you step up front, there's still almost nobody. You have bodies of the Prophet's sword in there,
We have a lot more cloaks now.
and
Yeah, we don't have to get any up now. We can just have a handful spare.
you actually see like a group of huddled people like sort of passing by. There's an old man who looks like he's been beaten to shit. And there's like a teenager girl with him and a younger boy that's sort of helping him walk. And he sort of freeze when they stumble upon the scene, and like the boy just like points that his mouth agape the bodies of like Prophet's sword, and then the girl sort of looks at the old man, and they sort of look flabbergasted, and like the boy just like waves. And in Castilian, you hear him tell the old man, "Look, they killed them. They killed the demons, and they can be killed. They're men."
leave me alone.
The girl sort of gives a quiet nod, and they sort of help the old men sort of usher to the side, and you hear the old man say, again in Castilian, "The fire is spreading." And they duck into one of the side alleys as you start to take care of these bodies.
once they're prayed over and we've gathered all the gear and all the intel, we leave a note on the door that says this house of worship should hear prayer once more and not be fortification. Some cleansing will be required. But
Well, yeah. We found blood, and then
People's pipes.
yeah, and this weird smell.
and then we make our way to the blacksmith. Drop all the weaponry there.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, we're friends with
That's my cousin.
That's right.
Yep.
Other one.
I tell Luis that a warrior's life is boring, and much of it is day-to-day mundanities. As such, you will, if you prove yourself adequate, you may be a Mendez of Mendez and Mendez. Report to Jose at that company. He'll teach you the ropes and let you know what your path shall be there. And I know that I can count on you should I need you.
That you can. I will do as you bid.
And I will absolutely be there every day to further your training.
Bows, and he's on his way. With a spring in his step.
Wow.
You hear in the distance from the forge the guard bells going with a lot of commotion. You hear boots on the ground, and for several hours you sort of hear people shooting around. Eventually,
Wait, several hours? Where are we?
I would say after our little sojourn up and around,
Because I should be going to bed.
we should go back to the restaurant and then come out of the restaurant.
Yeah, no one ever saw us cigarettes.
that's right.
Yeah. I stopped washing the basin first.
It's
Well,
We
yeah,
probably all smell weird.
I mean,
No,
how late is it now?
we can probably like
it's evening.
duck into the kitchen, throw
It
ourselves
was,
in the
when you
trough.
moved on the safe house,
Right, it was early.
it was early evening.
I suppose my body with my mouth.
There's a card game and a vagrant out back, and I'm sure we'll have something high alcohol proof to help scrub us down or whatever
yes.
before we.
So you wait a little bit at the restaurant, and then you are escorted out through the front door.
We leave copies of the basic intel.
Yep.
Base? What is it? So,
It's either yours or
I
Just
mean-
like some of the
I can summarize it with my
it's
scholarship.
just liars, so they can be
like
yours considered.
current safe houses, projected safe houses.
Yep.
Just some.
While I'm
just
there, I like write
When
that out.
when
just
you're
the bullet
there,
points.
you don't even need to. If you
Carlos.
asked it, yeah, Carlos comes over and he leans, and you just recite to him, and he sort of nods.
Oh, darn, if they had that. Okay.
He nods,
Just having it written down makes so
Yeah.
people can bring it back.
and then he's like, "Thank you. You should dispose of this if you have the information." And he sort of moves back towards the kitchen.
I mean, I should take more time. So then I give it to Humana
Yep.
to do Humana things to
Yeah, you
paper.
Yep. Look
Yeah.
at the
The
scribbles.
squiggly lines. Someone's squiggly lines are the same.
They're very important.
So I give it to Humana.
As you step out of the restaurant, you clearly hear in the streets somebody is taking the fight to the Prophet's sword. The Inquisition is very unhappy. They're gonna go tomorrow to make their public announcements, but they have the backing of the king. But you get like sort of like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? And you also hear like, good for them. Like there's people who are basically just emboldened by that. Rebel, as you walk back, somebody sort of bumps into you for a second.
Ready to grab that.
You're ready to grab, but
because I'm like, ah!
you get a little pat and the person moves away, and there's a little notice that has been shoved into your hand that carries the seal of a crow holding a dagger.
Oh, this reminds me. I've been thinking. How do you like the name Corvus Ifrit to describe how we're sort of the in-between for the crows and our Ifriti? I thought it was
I can't even know where that comes from.
Oh, because corvids are...
I know what corvids are. What's
And
the
then
Ifrit from?
She, Madame
Yeah.
Salvadora is originally from Ifrit.
Yeah. Specifically, she's from Quebec.
Like hours later.
I
Yeah.
get what you're saying. I don't know that I like it.
But that's okay. We can workshop it. But I think we should figure it out sooner or later when we introduce ourselves to... Anyway. Okay. Do I recall what the crow with the dagger stands for, or is it just
Carrying
Carrying
crow.
crows? Okay.
It's the carrying crow emblem. The same exact shape that you have with your insignia that you carry. The note is not signed,
No, yeah.
but there's only one sentence written within, and it says, "The crow bears witness to your fight. We will support you."
I say to the crew that the blackbirds are an auspicious omen, and we should take comfort in them. And then I take your hand and put your hand on top of the paper, and I'm like, just lose a bit.
Is that fire? I can't create fire. I'm pyro.
Okay. I'm sure we passed by a lantern.
Yeah. I'm pyro, not a firebender.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fair.
Funny lens.
We'll just pretend
We're in
kobolds
evil
and
times.
wear
It's that time of night. Yeah.
candles on our heads.
Yeah.
Oh, we should make you a cigar. Like one of those portable fire tubes where you just like roll up a bunch of Tetris tight and it keeps the smolder going. Yeah. You probably figure out how to make an chemical one that's even more.
Yeah, probably. She's better at using her fire magic than she is at actual alchemy. She's not very good either. The one is just easier because it comes naturally.
We could probably work it into here somewhere, like just like this smolder
Yeah.
With that,
stick concept.
you make your way back home,
Yeah.
and the 3-session day is now at an end.
Wow, yeah.
Thing after work, we gotta head back to headquarters and report in everything we've got. But yeah, it's like so.
Yeah.
We go to bed.
And that will be it for us tonight. Sorry, Manda. Thank you for hanging in. Woo! So to wrap everything up, here's for the 5 XP. Your first.
Speaking of 5 XP, there's this advantage.
Yeah?
It's called Together We Are Strong.
Uh-huh.
And it makes a lot of sense for Zhenya
Yeah.
as a team player. So, can I have it?
What?
Spend a hero point to give any number of your raises to another hero in the same scene as long as it's here for you.
Yes. You get. You have sufficiently operated with the screw.
Yep.
Wait, which one is that?
The bond is tight.
It's
Team player?
Together We Are Strong.
Okay.
It's under the Kissing Boys.
Oh, okay. I was looking at team player. I was looking
You would
at
want that way.
You know, I kept it open and I was just like, I need it for the.
Oh, it's the
I passed it by a
Sarmatian.
couple
Yes.
times while I was looking for my stuff
Yep.
too.
I was looking at Team Player earlier, actually.
Yeah, that
This is a
was
nice one.
that was another one that I was looking at too. But
But
I'm
this
like,
one was fun. Yeah.
yeah.
So it's the 5 points for the actual advantage and
Yep.
the roleplay list.
Yep.
What was your mission?
And I've just authorized that.
I forgot. I have a duelist background,
Yep.
which means that according to the book, whenever I turn to my sword to protect a noble cause, I can get a hero point.
I mean, that seems good.
Get your hero.
Forgot to ask what was that.
You.
Because she didn't really use her fire very much. She mostly used her sword.
You have certainly wielded it in service of noble cause this time for that.
So, like, I actually thought of helping, but I was like, you know what? I think she's got this. And I'm not going to have her have to do the same things that this guy's doing. So I just stood there and watched and wiggled my eyebrows and
That happened.
I mean, to be fair, she probably would have gotten upset if she knew that you had your name. Because she's really slippy on the fate magic part.
yeah.
Say goodnight, Internet.
Good night.